The three things that I look at are firstly, the context of the social age. Secondly, the reality post-pandemic. Thirdly, the rise of AI. The social age is the core feature of my work, and it says that social collaborative technology radically connected us and shifted our underlying sociology. So what it means to be human today is fundamentally different than what it was 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Wow.
And specifically, we've upended structures of power and community. We are seeing an evolved relationship between individuals and the structural aspects of society. We inhabit a greater diversity of social systems within a greater diversity of identities within that. That has all sorts of significant impacts. So that's my sort of first answer, is that in itself is probably paradigmatic change. The post-pandemic context is sort of the least significant of the three, but significant in one specific context. And that is that it represents a clear fracturing of the relationship between space and power. So the pandemic pulled us out of formal spaces and structures, moved us forcibly online, and taught us a lesson that we seem very determined not to learn, which is that something we believed was so fundamental to our systems, which was that the control of space and the habitation of formal and sanctioned space was central to our ability to operate. But it turns out it wasn't. People adapted incredibly fast. And since then, most organizations are persisting in trying to force us back into legacy structures. And, that's a mistake, because if we've learned a lesson, if we can see something playing out, we should be reacting to that, but we should also be saying, if something we believed was fundamentally true turned out to be so fragile and so untrue, what else is that going to be the case for? Like, is citizenship just as ephemeral as the office turned out to be? And then what AI does is it really fundamentally strips the value out of higher order thinking and sophisticated artifacts. It destroys our notions of truth and creativity and trust. And it completely pulls apart the connection between learning and practice and performance. And when you put all of that together, then you could argue that any one of those three things in themselves could give paradigmatic change. But together, it is a fundamental shift.